All right, what's up, guys? Today, I'm going to run you guys through breaking down this one weird shampoo brand. I say shampoo brand, and I'll explain why in a second. That's able to charge 5 times more than the competitors in a saturated shampoo market, right? And how you guys, as fitness coaches, can do the same thing. So, for that. Okay, before I actually get into it, here's what we're going to cover. All right, we're going to cover how the shampoo brand is able to actually achieve top of mind awareness within its marketplace, how they're able to charge 5 times more, kind of like just what I just said, and how even broke people, or I say like broke college students, which a lot of the time as coaches, we think that students are automatically broke, actually choose this brand over cheaper shampoos. And I know this is true for a fact because I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos and one of this girl literally said, "Oh, I never understood why I should just buy something really expensive that's going to wash down the drain. But then once I use the shampoo, it changed my life." And that's a direct quote. So I'm going to explain how this marketing brand or the shampoo that brand does that, as well as how they actually differentiate themselves really, really well in a saturated market, which, like you guys know, fitness is, because that's the key to what's allowed them to actually charge 5 times more. So before we get into that, let me just give you some context on the current shampoo market scene, or even like fitness coaching fat loss scene. So the current market is kind of at what we call a stage 4 to 5 level of sophistication. So what that means is that if you want to be able to win over customers, you have to be able to differentiate yourself based on not just the claim, but the mechanics in terms of the like how you're different and how you get them to a specific goal or a specific result in a way that's different from your competitors. What I mean by that is, in super simple terms, people need to know that the way in which you get someone the result is not just different, but they need to be able to see logically how it works and how your way is better than your competitor's way. So let's just quickly think about, how do you currently choose your shampoo? For most people, or for most guys, it's going to be like which one's on discount, or which one can they use to both wash their body and use as hand soap and use as a deodorant, like all in one. And then for girls, if you're anything like me, it's probably going to be something along the lines of like which packaging looks cool, right? So which packaging just looks a bit more professional, which claim resonates with me more. So does this one, does one shampoo work for dry hair versus another shampoo works for like, I don't know, like damaged hair, whatever, right? So they claim, but then most of all, we probably choose based on which one is on promotion at the time and which one's cheaper. Because when you're walking in Boots and you're walking in Tesco or Albertsons or Walmart or I don't know, whatever US supermarket, a large part of your decision when all of the shampoos are lined up and they all kind of look the same is going to be the price and what's on discount. So if we think about it, is the way in which we or your audience chooses fitness coaching by a similar criteria right now. So most coaches struggle with this. They give discounts, and the only reason a lot of people buy is because they happen to be the person who able to afford it, right? And it's largely commoditized. So I'm going to show you guys how to reverse that so you don't have to compete on price. Now, just a quick thing on market sophistication. I want to give you guys some examples of what we do with our clients in terms of different angles to differentiate yourself. So within the fitness space, a really, really typical one is going to be something along the lines of, I help busy entrepreneurs lose 30 pounds in 90 days without sacrificing their paper food. Or it's going to be like, I help like high performers lose fat and gain muscle without spending hours in the gym. And it's like, that's not bad. I used that myself in 2017, 2018, when not that many coaches still knew about flexible dieting relative to now. But now it's like every single person is using an offer statement like this. So I'm not saying that the tagline in your bio matters a lot, but what I am saying is that the like one of the key ways to differentiate yourself is by tapping into is by appealing to people's identity and their reputation. And that's so important. It's so powerful, but it's also so underused as well, because I don't know, like I haven't really seen anyone teach this, at least in the fitness business space. But just to give you guys an example, the reason why I say this now is because stage 5 market a level of sophistication is when you go past the results and the mechanics, but more so appeal to that person's identity, and how they view themselves, as well as the reputation that they want. So to give you guys some examples as well, I recently just like changed up some of my clients. Instead of like, I help women build an incredible body in 90 days, which is a very vanilla sort of statement, we actually changed my client's messaging to ready to rock a body your ex only wishes he could get his hands on, right? Which is a lot more powerful, because you want to think like a good litmus test that I always think about when I write ad copy, when I teach my clients, is what would appeal to their ego, and what are they a lot of the time too like ashamed to admit that if they were being 100% brutally honest, they would tell you. So another example on the right here is my client originally, and this client has made like 14K in the first 2 weeks, by the way. Her original statement is like, want to know how to lose the mommy body. I think it was like without doing a ton of exercise or something, but then we repositioned it to like be the cool mom that your daughter's friends wish they had. Because if you think about it, my client's target market was females, female moms. So what do moms really want, right? They want to be the example for their daughters, but then they also want to be seen as the cool mom. You know what I mean? So you want to always think a bit laterally when it comes to your overall messaging as well. Now, just to really get into it, I'm going to break down. And the reason why I even came up with this training is because like I'm Asian, right? So naturally I've got like super dark brown hair, not black though. And I've like bleached the shit out of my hair. And now it's like platinum blonde. And I bought this thing, and this cost me 20 pounds, like 20 pounds for this, compared to the regular type of shampoo, which is like 2 pounds. And, oh, okay. This presentation actually missed over a slide. Okay, so here's what the slide that didn't show was meant to say. Yeah, so in regular shampoos, and I Googled this, the typical price for a shampoo is 3 pounds. All right, or actually in my notes here, per 100 ml is 5 pounds. So I took a generic shampoo brand, I took Tresemme, that's 5 pounds per 100 ml. Compared it to this thing, which is 20 pounds per 100 ml, which is 4 times the price. So why do people choose this bottle over regular drugstore shampoo, even though it's 4 times more expensive? I know I said 5 in when I know I said 5 in the title of this training, but I meant 4. Rule number 1 of marketing: don't use bait and switch, like what I just did. But that was an accident, so it's fine. So anyway, how is this shampoo brand able to charge 4 times more regular shampoos? And it's kind of like in fitness, right? How are some clients, some coaches able to charge $1,500 or even up to $5,000 for 90 days when the majority of the market are only able to charge like 300 for 90 days? So I'm going to show you guys here. Oh, this was the slide, my bad. Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to repeat that. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, it messed up, but we should be all good. So the first is I took this right off the website, and I want to show you guys how smart that is and break down the key elements that makes this really powerful. So if you look at this part of the website, even just the copy is like, look at all these, the text in red is what I've been able to identify, right? So the first is Okay, in saturated markets, people love novel and people love new because it triggers serotonin or dopamine in their brains, right? So the first thing that you need to do is actually to come up with something that's perceived as being brand new. That's something that they never tried before, so they can't even compare it to their previous solutions. And if we look at the copy here, it's like the original bond builder, right? Our patented active chemistry. So what we have here is we have the newness factor or the novel factor. We have the exclusivity, right, of it's patented. And what that means is that no other brand has it and they can't find it anywhere else. And you have the mechanics. So at a very high level, kind of like the how it works in the copy and the benefits in these kind of 3 bullet points here. And then on the right side of the left side, you can actually see a picture of someone's hair. And I cropped this bit out, but they had a before picture of the hair too. So straight away, that shows the social proof that this claim actually is legit and that they fulfill in their promise. So the main things you need in your offer and your marketing is an element of novelness or newness, and to be able to convey that they can only get it from you, right? In this case, it's patented. So a patented active chemistry. So going back to how they're able to charge 4 times more and actually get broke college students buying, the first is identifying what I call a hyper niche. So you probably haven't heard this before because like I made it up to explain this to my clients, but you want to find a clear problem or a clear need within a niche that hasn't quite been tapped into or that no one else is really talking about. So to give you an example for this brand, for this, for Olaplex, it's not just a shampoo brand, but it's specific for people like me who've had really damaged hair from bleaching it, or just, yeah, like people who've got really damaged hair, right? Because that's somewhat an untapped need in the market. And then the second element here is that the angle in your messaging has to be different. And a key way to just differentiate yourself is to be able to have messaging that is hyper specific to one body part and brand around that. So instead of just being generic fat loss or, I help people get healthy or muscle gain, what you can do for those of you who are in the aesthetic look good niche is to actually hone in on one specific body part and brace your brand around that. So I'll give you guys an example. One of my previous clients who signed on with me around 2 years ago, initially she was like, a typical personal trainer, helps people lose fat and all that. And then we completely we re-angled her entire messaging so that her brand is based around like strength and sculpt, which is shrinking your waist and building your butt. Because while a lot of other coaches do that, no one else really emphasizes it or talks about it to the extent that she does. And now she's been able to almost have top of mind awareness for that specific result. And she now does around 20K a month just from Instagram, no paid ads or anything. And she works like 10, maybe 20 hours a week. So that's the first thing, right? Is a hyper niche. The second thing is you want to be able to have a unique mechanism. So what this is it's a logical, you need to be able to show your audience how your thing is different in the way it works, just like we spoke about earlier. And the key to making this successful is it should almost justify why their previous things they've tried doesn't work. So somewhat in your marketing or in your sales, you need to be able to develop a logical story or rationale in explaining how your product works differently compared to your competitors. So going back to this example here with the shampoo for Olaplex, the way they position it is like how they work, right? So the product goes inside and penetrates your hair, and they actually create more bonds in your hair. And then if we contrast that to the claim or the mechanics of regular conditioners, it's that they just sit outside the hair to seal the cuticle to give the appearance of smoother hair. So that's kind of the difference there, but you need to be able to explain the way in which your service gets someone a specific result. And like I said, when you do this correctly, it's going to be able to, you're going to be able to differentiate yourself and not get that comparison of, okay, when you do this correctly, you're going to be able to prevent the objection of what if this doesn't work for me again, because it's positioned as a completely unique mechanism of action. So continuing on with that as well, a large objection that a lot of people get is, oh, well, like I've tried something before and it didn't work for me. And that's a fair objection, right? Especially in the fitness space, because everyone's been burned and they've tried like a bunch of different things and they still haven't gotten the result. So the worst thing that you can do is to have this piece missing, because what happens is people are just going to be seeing your service as, you know, the same thing, but 10 times more the price. And then like, of course, you're not going to make sales, right? So yeah, I mean, I covered this already, but one thing that you can do in your marketing is to mechanize the pain or the problem or the solution. So with this shampoo brand, what they do really well is they take all the symptoms of like dry, brittle hair, and then they actually put a name on it called the chemical cut. And that's something that you can do in the fitness space as well, right? Is you can almost like put a common name on a bunch of symptoms that they get, so that every time they think about that symptom, they think of you and you're the only one who can solve it for them. So to give you guys an example in terms of how this applies to the fitness space, one angle that you can use is almost like from the angle of most diets work off changing food choices and manipulating food intake. But the real reason why you're not losing weight is because of this real thing, which is your hormones. So what we do instead is we actually tailor your diet to optimizing your hormones, because that's what's going to allow you to lose 20 pounds without like pushback from your body, right? So that's obviously, I always say, like, you have to be able to back it up with science. But I wanted to give you guys a really clear-cut example of how you can apply this in the fitness space. So the third element here that this brand does really well is they actually put their intellectual property on it. Super simple terms. This is, you simply just make up a name for your brand or your process. And with Olaplex, they've been able to do this so well that people don't even refer to it as a shampoo brand, but they refer to it as a different product altogether. Like they refer to it as a product, not even a shampoo brand, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like Google, right? Like Google's been able to be so top of mind and do so well in their marketing that people just say, let me Google it. It's almost like it's like a verb, right? And I'm not saying like Olaplex is, but what I'm saying is in the hair industry, people will say things like, oh, you need Olaplex, right? Oh, Olaplex will solve that. But no one says, oh, you need L'Oreal. Or like, oh, you need herbal essence. Like, no, right? So if you can make up a special name or process for your offer or your coaching, or even a part of your offer, then suddenly you're the only one who has it. But not just that, you've been able to position yourself as the founder of a specific process. So then when you're able to put a name on the pain, like mechanize the pain, and then when you're able to also mechanize the solution, then there's an obvious pain solution alignment, and people know to come to you to solve that pain because you've just named their common symptoms. So the second final thing here, and does that make sense, guys? Let me know in the comments. But the second final thing here is to have logical next steps for your offer. So with this shampoo brand, they literally have like 5 different or like 10 different products. I don't even know. I'm not saying that you should have 10 different offers. Like you just don't need 10 different offers, or like most people watching this should not be making a bunch of different offers, but rather one reason why they do so well is because they have a logical next step for like the next product. So for example, they've got like this thing that I have, and then they also sell like oils for after you shampoo your hair and wash your hair. They have like, yeah, 5 different things or like 5 different stages. So if we were to apply it to the fitness space, it's almost like you want to have a back-end process or a process to upgrade people on your back-end offer, like from 3 months and then graduate them on a 6 months, and then be able to position it so it's the logical next step for them. And to give you guys an example with us, we have a front-end offer, which is helping people get to like 5 to 10K or like transition from beginning or side hustle to actually full-time. And then our back-end offer is more like the logical next step. So it's going to be scaling beyond 10K months. And then also going through things like leadership, managing a team, like Facebook ads, automation, stuff like that. So that's the next one. And then the final thing is, I mean, I'm not even going to expand on this too much, is to actually fulfill on your offer. So you want to make sure that your offer actually meets the claims that you're making in your marketing and in your sales process. And part of the reason why this shampoo brand, why Olaplex is so powerful, is because they actually do their jobs better than all the other competitors out there. So I'm not going to expand on that too much because I don't want to give you guys a bunch of information that you've already heard before in terms of, you know, actually deliver. But that's it, guys. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any questions, then write them in the comments, but I will see you guys on the next live.